Roadhouse. Chase Rice in the house, man. It's good to meet you, man. Congratulations on all the success.
Thank you.
I was reading up some of the stuff on you, man, just trying to get a little grasp of kind of the path that you've been on. University of North Carolina, linebacker. Yeah, and NASCAR pit crew for a little while. How about all that, man?
Man, it's been a fun life. It's been wild. I mean, I can't explain why my life's been the way it's been, but I mean, if you could write a script, I'm not sure I'd write it better than it has been. I wrote, it was at like an Athletes in Action thing when I was in college. They said, where you want to be in 5, 10, 15 years? And I was like, well, I want to play in the NFL. I was a linebacker that was good enough, and injuries kind of knocked that out of the plans for me. And then I said I want to pursue country music, which was the dumbest thing I could have written, because I'm like, at that point I just learned to play guitar. It's like, what? No, you're not. That's like saying I want to be an astronaut because I saw Apollo 13. It's like, that doesn't work like that. And then I said I wanted to have a family. That was my 15-year plan, and those are my 3 goals. I've knocked out 2 of them with the NFL. Didn't happen like I planned on it, but my buddy one time, he was like, I was telling him, like, I just never made it happen, man. I couldn't stay healthy. He said, well, wait, didn't you just tell me a little bit ago about playing with Kenny Chesney in 2015? It was in 17 he said this. I was like, well, yeah. He said, weren't you telling me about how you got to go into the Lucas Oil Field and your old college coach was there as the head coach and you played in front of 70,000 people, yada, yada? I was like, well, yeah. He said, sounds to me like you've played in the NFL a little bit. It's like, well, it wasn't the plan that I had, but yeah, it's I've had a wild journey, and then through NASCAR and all that, that was just like a little bit of extra stuff that was really just wild.
That's interesting, man. So, I've had a lot of friends and athletes and stuff over the years. It seems like the body, as the game has progressed and training techniques have progressed and strength training has progressed, man, body takes a pounding, man. If you can make it through college without all those injuries, man, you got to have a really special makeup to be injury free, man. It's devastating to you, man. Yeah,
I mean, my ankles were tore it up for me. It was really, really bad. Apparently ankles are worse than anything you can have. Maybe hips probably worse, but and neck. But my back, like even this morning, I wake up, my back's killing me. I got a special bed in my bus thinking that's going to help. Didn't help. It's just my body just hurts these days.
It's just going to get worse.
I know.
Ain't nothing you can do about it. I'm telling you, I wake up with a new day. Every day I put my foot on the ground and say, what's going to hurt today? It's a whole new
experience. It's everything. My back is always the first thing, and then I'm just like, yeah, but I wouldn't trade it. I mean, I had the best time of my life. I mean, even Garrett, he's one of my best college buddies, one of my best friends in the world. He played in the NFL for 10 plus years, I think, and yeah, I mean, I remember one time he's at my house. He couldn't hardly walk up the stairs. I'm like, damn, dude. So.
Oh, yeah. Who do you follow in college now? I'm sure you're still a Tar Heel fan.
Carolina, yeah. We're 6-1, but we keep getting it done, but we ain't impressive to me yet.
How about that Tennessee Alabama game?
That was sick.
That was awesome.
Where was I? I had a show that night, and it was with Aldine. We were in Alabama. We were in Birmingham, and man, it just. I wanted to be on Rocky Top so bad.
It was unbelievable, man. Yeah,
were you there?
I was not there. My daughter actually is there. Her and some friends went up for the game today. They overnighted there. Mm-hmm. She goes to a different university, but they were going up for the game. But that $100,000 fine and the goalpost in the river, man, that's epic, man. They'll be talking about that shit for years.
Yeah, I don't think anybody minds that. If I'm Tennessee, I'm like, dude, let's go.
Some alumni wrote a check.
I remember when they beat Florida in '98. It was the first time they beat Florida in forever. And that was actually the year T. Martin and all them, they won the national title. So I remember they took the goalpost down. My brother was at that game. He said it was pretty epic. But Rocky Top can be a pretty special place.
Yeah, I grew up in Arkansas, and so I grew up a Razorback fan. And Pittman's got them going in a good direction now. So 2 years ago, after LSU won the national championship, I was down in Lafayette in Baton Rouge with Justin Moore. We played the arena down there.
Okay.
And we went back out for the encore. And I got them to call the freaking Hogs at LSU, dude. Can you believe that? The whole
you did?
stadium called the freaking Hogs. It was awesome.
Wait, really?
Yes, I got them to do. Well, they won the national championship. What they have to lose? But they actually freaking did it, man. It was pretty crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Sam Pittman was my offensive line coach at Carolina.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I was a linebacker, so he didn't coach me, but yeah, he was the O-line coach when I was at Carolina. We were stacked. We had Sam Pittman, offensive line coach. Butch Davis was head coach. Chuck Pagano was a D coordinator, who was the Colts coach when I was there playing with Kenny. We had a lot of good coaches come through. Signetti was there. We had a lot of good players too. So.
Yeah, I like what he's doing there. He's understands the culture of the university, and I think that's a big part about bringing a winning mentality back in. You got to appreciate the culture and get that camaraderie and that team spirit back up, man. Some coaches don't really know how to do that, man, and I think that's where it all has to begin, man. You got to appreciate everything around you.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta embrace community. Have you? So there's a documentary out called "Welcome to Wrexham." It's about Ryan Reynolds and Paul. God, he's from Sunny in Philadelphia. Funny things, I always make fun of him in the documentary because it's Ryan and that other guy. So they bought this like third tier club in England, soccer club, and they go in. I mean, they spent like $1 million or something. Nothing crazy on buying the soccer club, but it's historic. But it's incredible watching these guys how they came in. They put the people first, and then their second year, and they're about to get promoted. So it's wild how the communities rally around this team. I see the same thing with any college football team. Or with any football team in general, like Arkansas, Tennessee's back, but the community. I think Josh Heupel's put the community first, and if you don't do that, you got to get people around you that believe in you, and I mean, obviously that starts with the players too. So
absolutely, that's a big part of it. So let's talk some music, man. So if you didn't grow up, playing guitar and singing country songs, and what were your influences and stuff? Where'd you start?
Well, you were one of them, so I appreciate you.
Yeah, man.
First and foremost was Garth and Ledoux back in the late '80s, early '90s. My brothers, I just listened to what my brothers listened to because I didn't. We had a jukebox that I still have in my house. It's got a bunch of old stuff. I mean, talking Big Bad John to Elvis to You Never Close Your Eyes Anymore When I Get. Like, that was one of my favorite songs with the jukebox.
Dirty Dancing, yeah.
And but man, it was Garth and Chris was my first real memories of being passionate about music. And then '90s country just exploded.
Yeah.
Anywhere from You to Diffie to and then Straight was always in there. But I was originally always a Garth and Chris guy. Yeah. And my first concert was Garth in '97 or '98 in Charlotte, North Carolina. I just moved there from '96. I think we moved to North Carolina from right here in Daytona. And I was just a fan, man. I just loved, from that night on, I loved country music. And I didn't have a big history of music in general. And I still don't. I'm still learning a ton about just all other genres. And that's why I think when I got into music, I kind of stuck with one thing, and that was just what I knew at the time, which at that time, in the 2010 starting era, was that bro country thing. That's all I really knew to do. I just, like I said, I just learned to play guitar. Like, why would I be any good at this? And I got lucky with Cruise in 2010-11, and that was the best thing that could have happened to me, and by far the worst thing that could have happened to me at the same time.
Set that bar really freaking high. It's kind of like killing a 15-point buck your first time out.
Yeah, you don't want that. You got to work for it a little bit. But man, I didn't. Honestly, I look back and I say that to everybody. They're like, "You're crazy, man. Take it." I'm like, "Yeah, we'll take it." But it kind of wrecked my next 8 or 9 years of trying to do that, trying to pursue what was popular at the time, as opposed to just doing what I loved and wanted to do. Instead of grinding and trying to fight and figure out what I wanted to do, I just kind of went with the flow. And it got me hits, Ready, Set, Roll, Gonna Wanna, and then that all led to like Lonely and Eyes on You and all that. And I'll never take away from those, but to me, those are just the things that led me to realizing, like, I had to work with Morgan tonight. Like, I had a good conversation with him about 1.5 years ago. I said, man, I could never figure out what I wanted to do. I knew what I wanted to do, but I couldn't figure out how to do it. And I was just telling him, like, he had a better thing going where it seemed like he wanted to do. He knew what he wanted to do, and his response was awesome. He looked at me, he was like, man, to be honest, I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew what I didn't want to do. And I didn't even know what I didn't want to do. I just knew when all that success was happening with Ready, Set, Roll, Following Cruise, and all those songs in that era. I just knew, I was like, man, this is cool, but this ain't it for me. Like,
so how did you learn about song structure and stuff? I mean, if you really didn't really have a deep, knowledge of all that stuff, did somebody teach you about structure, or did you get into poetry? I mean, where did that come from?
The writing and the storytelling was, I've journaled since I was 15.
Gotcha.
So I think that had something to do with it. Maybe I'm just got a little creative. I clearly had just a little creativity in there anyway. I'm like, I look at myself now, I'm like, God dang, I'm a weird son of a bitch sometimes. Like, there's something off.
A walking contradiction.
There's
sometimes.
something off in my head, man.
I think that's everybody in this business, though, man. There's a little something
What
off.
the hell's
about all
wrong
of
with me? But as far as the structure and stuff, like I said, it was just that was what was popular at the time. All right, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus, go on about your business. And that's what I really respected about what Eric Church was doing from 2010 on. Was like I was listening to some of his stuff, like, what in the hell's going on here? There's not even a chorus in this song. And then him and Jay got together. He had the benefit of having Jay Joyce help him maneuver what he wanted to do, or what he, what they were trying to do anyway, and they did a really good job with it, I thought. And I had gotten with Chris DiStefano, he's more of a pop guy. He's unbelievably talented, unbelievably amazing. And we did our thing, and we had really good success with that. But the entire time I was working with Chris, I was like, I kept pushing him to try to do something that wasn't really him, because I was really respecting and loving that Jay Joyce thing. So it was a battle. It was just 100% a battle.
I think song structures changed a lot too. I was really a kind of a country music nerd, man. I knew producers and road musicians and session players and all that stuff and all that structure and stuff. And if you go back and listen to a lot of the stuff from the 60s and 70s, man, it was pretty standard and pretty cut and dry. But now, like, Hardy and I were talking about song structure too, man. Just there's creative ways, a lot more channels and things in songs nowadays, and people that are just putting the hook line at the end of a channel and not even building a chorus in. There's so many different things that are happening song structure wise that I think that are very cool. I guess pop and rock have been doing for a long time, but it just seems like country's finally catching up with all the really cool structuring arrangements that are just very interesting to me.
That's probably why Hardy's got some different stuff out there, because he's a big rock guy, he's a big metal guy.
Well, I was confused. I didn't realize that he had studied songwriting at MTSU. He went to school and studied songwriting at college. I'd never even heard of that, man.
Yeah. Well, for me, I just heard his song, The Mockingbird and the Crow.
Oh yeah,
it's weird. It's out there. It starts out, but it's so brilliant. And he's another level right now. I think people are gonna hear my next record and be like, "What is he doing?" But in the best way. Like, so talking about Chris DiStefano, we were doing tracks at first, and I tried to implement some real live band stuff in there. And this wasn't even song structure. This was just the sound of the song in general. So him and I were battling in a cool way. Like, we never had any head-to-head things. Like, I love Chris to death. He's one of my favorite people on the planet. But what I figured out since then is, like, don't try to push him to do something that's not him as much as just let's go try to find someone that can help me really, really hone in on what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that was Jay Joyce at first. We ended up working with Jay on 2 songs. And to be honest, Jay wasn't all in, and I could tell that, and that's fine. I got nothing personal towards him. He freaking killed it for me. I love that I got to work with him. But that all led to this wild scenario of me and this guy named Oscar Charles working together on my next record. And Oscar is a newer up-and-coming guy, but through a girl that I knew, she got me turned on to the band Boy Named Banjo. Loved their Circles EP, so I was listening to that. And then it turns out somebody brought up me working with Oscar. I'm like, who's Oscar Charles? Then they sent me a couple stuff he'd done, and he did the Boy Named Banjo Circles EP. I was like, holy shit, I love that album. So Oscar and I talked one time, never worked together. I was like, yep, let's do a full album. Let's go into my house, not even a real studio. Let's go into my house, record this album, which, like, we didn't even test it. Like, is this even going to work? I just felt, let's go. Let's full send it. We did. We did the entire album in my house. It's like 13 songs, I think. And it was 2 weeks straight. We recorded 2 weeks straight. That's all we were doing for 2 weeks. We were in my house from, 9 a.m. to 3 a.m. some nights working. And it was cool. Like, stuff that happened was we did a song called Key West in Colorado, first song we recorded. Turned out solid. Then we did a song called All Dogs Go to Hell, second, which is a crazy title, but there's a reason for the title once you hear the song. And when we did All Dogs Go to Hell, we did No Click. He was like, man, let's just try this with No Click. I want to feel it.
Talk me through your session structure, because I'm fascinated. Everybody's got a different. I like going into a big room with players because I like to massage the arrangement and all that stuff. Walk me through how you put your session together. Do you start with acoustic guitar? Do you start with a drum groove? Walk me through what you do.
So this one we did acoustic guitar first. I'd play it for the guys, and Rob McNally would chart it, and that would give the guy, and it would just me being a guitar. And that was first of all, we started with that. If I didn't want to learn it on guitar, we didn't record it because I wasn't passionate enough about it. So
Gotcha.
That was rule number one. I had to learn on guitar and play it for the guys first, which seems elementary. But throughout my career, I'd have songs where after we wrote them, because you're writing with track people, I wouldn't have a clue how to play the song. I wouldn't know what key it's in. So we'd find the key first. I'd learn to play it in guitar, play it for the guys. We'd chart it out. And then we'd just do a take. It would do me playing on guitar and I'd just start. Drums would go, bass would join in, Rob McNally on the electric would join in, and then I'd kind of sing it while I played it. And we'd just feel how that felt first. And usually you do that, you get a tempo. This one we didn't get tempo. So the whole record, we decided from that point on, we're not going to do a click. We're just going to do this whole thing on feel and just see what goes on. And that's how we did it. I mean, the drums were in front of my fireplace. This was a sick setup. Like, it was the weirdest, dumbest way you could record an album that turned out awesome. And the control room was in this random room in my house that I don't use. It's a cigar room, bar now. I was in the gun room doing vocals and guitar. And then the bass and the electric were also in the living room so they could all three play off each other. And, man, it was we realized we caught fire on All Dogs Go to Hell. It was like, oh shit, man, this is feeling so good. And then we'd hear the song back after we'd feel good about a take, and I just get goosebumps. Like, damn, like what's going on? And the third day, we did a song called Way Down Yonder that just came out, and it's funky. First of all, it sounded normal because I was playing acoustic, and I was just kind of doom 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 doom, and I was just kind of strumming along. Yeah. And I hated it. Everybody's thought, yeah, this is a sick take. That's perfect. And I hated it. And I realized through just experimenting, I mean, it took us the entire day to figure out this one track. And it was like, okay, what do I hate about this? I really hate what I'm playing, to be honest. Rob, would you mind going in there with acoustic and just play something weird? And he started playing this carnival sounding thing. And my first thought was, that's sick, but it's not going to work with what we got. And then we did that with what we got, had the guys keep playing to it. It was like, damn, it actually does work. So through experimenting and having time to do that and not having to be like, all right, studio time's up in 2 hours, we got to hustle. No, we didn't have a time frame, It was just like, it allowed us to try different weird shit. And we came across the strangest album, coolest album that I've ever done. And it's going to be way different than anything everybody's ever heard from me. But the coolest part about it, it's so me and it's so what I love, that if people are wanting, like, okay, that was a cool little experiment that you did. Now we want Lonely If You Are, Drinking Beer Talk, God Amen. It's like, okay, well then go on to iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen to music and listen to it.
Yeah.
That ain't gone. It's there. But I'm not going back to that because I love so much of what I just did. And I think guys like you, guys like Hardy, that have a real appreciation for authentic, more organic stuff, I think can appreciate this album a whole lot more than anything I've ever.
And as an artist, you have to continue to move forward and grow too. You don't want to do what you did 5 years ago or 10 years ago, wherever. You have to keep moving. And the great thing about a lot of the technology that we have in this day and age is everything's in the box, man. When you got Pro Tools and everything, you got all these plugins and all the stuff that you can use. Everything is just, it's right there, and you can click and sample your drums and get all those tight sounds that you need. It's pretty amazing time that we live in.
Yeah, and the thing I loved about this record was they went in and doctored stuff afterwards. It wasn't as organic as what you hear is what you get on the snare. No, you can make it sound like you just said how you want. But like if there was a stomp clap, there was no, all right, go into Pro Tools or whatever and Logic and grab this stomp clap that's generic. No, we were in there stomp clapping. We were in there screaming or howling if you wanted to sound like that. We even had one in Way Down Yonder. There's a boom, and a gun goes off. The cock was easy because I was just in front of Mike with my dad's old shotgun.
Yeah.
Did that. He was like, cool, that worked. We got it. Now let's shoot a gun. It took us like 6 rounds to figure out the sound because I shot the shotgun on the front porch, didn't get the sound we wanted, switched it from a shotgun to a rifle, a 308 with a big muzzle brake on it so it's louder, and that ended up being the sound. But it took us, we had to put a microphone down by the flagpole, a couple up by the house. That's how organic we got. We wanted it to be our actual sounds. Yeah, it was fun. And we were, probably not supposed to say this, but I'm 6 beers deep shooting a rifle off my front porch. That was fun.
That's what being in the country is about, man.
Exactly.
Cool.
And you might be able to complain and say you shouldn't do that. I agree, but I've dealt with guns my whole life. We were safe. It's good to go. And it's my house. I can do what I want.
Absolutely, man. So obviously, if you got guns, you're a big hunter. You hunt?
Yeah, I killed in Louisiana yesterday with a bow.
Awesome, man. Whitetail, or I guess it
Whitetail,
is bow season. Yeah, it is bow season right now. Yep.
I've gone out. I've killed an elk this year in Colorado. Shot one in Montana.
Yeah.
Felt awesome about the shot, and then put a second one in there from 90. Obviously, he's going to die.
Yeah.
Found him 5 hours later, still alive.
Man, they're big animals, man.
I know, and I've never lost an elk before, but it sucked.
I've been on one. I've been on a couple of elk hunts, but I went on one big one in Montana several years ago where it was a pack up, and like all day thing. It took 9 of us to pack one out. Man, I got a big, massive bull, but whew, that's a lot of stuff. You carrying the head out, and everybody you carry as much as you can out.
It's
I mean,
brutal.
it's brutal, man. It's a physical thing.
Hopefully tomorrow night I'll be doing that. We're going out. My brother and I, neither one of us killed in Montana this year, but I killed one in Colorado the week after I didn't kill the one in Montana. It was 340 bulls, the biggest bull I ever killed.
That's awesome. Love that elk meat, man.
That was it's the best. That was 50 yards, and I punched it right behind it. I felt real good on that one. But we're going out for rifle tomorrow at in a couple ranches in Montana. We'll see what we get.
That's cool. You been alligator hunting down here at all?
I haven't. Well, since I was a kid, we grew up just shooting them in my backyard. We grew up on a farm in Daytona or Ormond Beach, and we'd shoot them with my dad's 30-06 or go spotlight them at night and pop them in the head. But I've not done it since I appreciate hunting.
Oh, yeah, man. Alligator hunting, man. I've been a couple times down in Louisiana where you've been big 12-foot rascals, man. They're just massive.
We pulled a 13-footer out of our pond in Florida, which is insane.
Yeah.
We called somebody
about
to
that freaking big.
Gene White was the guy's name. We called him to get that one out. But now that I'm grown up, I'm like, what? Like, we were tubing, jet skiing in that water.
Oh, yeah.
13-acre pond. Like, I wouldn't get in that water. If you put a gun in my head right now, I'd be like, no, just pull the trigger. I'm not getting in the water. And yeah, we pulled a 13-footer out of water that we used to swim in. Stupid.
Well, it's obvious that you're an overachiever, man. So what are your goals now? I mean, you're athlete. I mean, it seems like you do anything you put your mind to. You want to do movies? What's on the agenda? I know you're thinking about it, man. You always got to move forward.
See, I would never pursue that. If it came to me, one thing actually did come to me. Just through William Morris, who I was with for a minute, and that was sick. When that opportunity came, it was Killers of the Flower Moon, which is not out yet, but it's a Scorsese movie. And the one scene they asked me if I'd be interested in doing was it was with DiCaprio and De Niro. So I'm like, those three together,
pretty freaking cool.
Hell yeah, let's go. Like the only thing I'd ever do in a movie, let's go. And I did the thing. The lady loved it. But they said this pisses me off. The guy with Scorsese comes back. He says, "Nope, he's not our guy. He's too classically handsome." And now it's like, just punch me in the face. Tell me to eat Oreos, punch me in the face, shave my head, don't matter. Because that would have been a cool thing to do. And the guy they chose looks the exact opposite of me. So at least that's got some, at least they weren't lying to my face. But I've never thought about movies. Music, the number one goal I got right now is to get this music thing to a point where I don't know. I just think there's another level that I can hit as far as believability, because I look at that song, Lonely If You Are. It's a cool song. It's artsy. It's where I was at the time. Killer. But I think what I'm doing now and what I'm about to do on this next record is the best thing I've ever done.
That's awesome.
And you hear artists do that. You hear artists say that, and then it doesn't work. If that doesn't work, I'm going to do it again. And if that doesn't work, I'm going to do it again. I don't want people to look at this and be like, oh, that's just a phase he's going through. Like, no, this is just what I love with music. This is what I'm going to do come hell or high water. And I'm not going to veer off from it. And so, yeah, that's my main goal, is just to get people to finally believe me and who I am as an artist, because now I finally know who the hell I am. And I don't expect them to. I look at my music from the time I started to the time now. It's like, what the hell have I been doing? But to me, it's just all been trying to figure out what the hell I want to do. And this next record's the first time I can say, like, okay, now I really know what I want to do.
Well, country's pretty broad too, man. I mean, it's a pretty open palette to wherever you want to take it, man. There's so many different influences that are in country right now. It's everything from hip hop to rap and blues and
I could care less about all that. It's like, if you want to do like the pop country thing, if you want to do bro country, if you want to do classic country, 90s country, like, do it.
Yeah.
The thing that pisses me off when people are like, "Oh, that's not country." Like, shut the fuck up.
It's all country.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that on
Hey,
here.
it's a podcast, man. Say whatever you want. We had Jelly Roll on here, man. You say
Okay, yeah, we're good then. No, but it's just shut up. You're never going to get to the bottom of that argument. If you don't like it, play something else.
That's it.
I don't understand why people talk so much shit about genres. And the same thing. It's like I've had people telling me how awesome my shit is and how terrible someone else is. Luke Combs was telling me one time. He said, "Hey, I was talking to this one guy, and he just came up to me. He was like, 'Man, fuck that Florida Georgia line shit. Your shit's the real shit.'" And he was like, the guy was trying to get him to agree, and Luke looked at him. He was like, "I disagree, man. FGL just kind of do what they do. I'm doing what I do."
Huge, man. Huge.
I believe every artist should do what they want to do, and that, like I said, that all leads me to like, man, this is what I'm best at right now. This is what I want to do, and this is what I'm doing, so I'm having fun with it.
We're all going to have haters, man. There's always going to be people that want to try to rattle you chain of stuff. That's why I don't get on Twitter.
I haven't been on Twitter. I haven't been on Instagram. I haven't had any of that stuff since 2020, and it's hurt that platform because I stopped caring about it. When you're not on it, you don't see it. To me, it just makes people so dumb. It made me so dumb for a while trying to talk and reason with these people.
It's impossible.
Yeah, what are you doing? It's a waste of time.
And then I stay pissed off all the time. It's like I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah, exactly. I've been off it, and my life has been so much better.
Oh, yeah.
And the music's finally gotten better. It's like, oh, shit, I wish I'd have done this 10 years ago.
So I guess you got brothers and sisters? You got a big family?
Not a big family. My mom lives in Daytona.
Yeah.
One of my brothers lives here in Orlando. His kids are coming tonight. They're 6 and 4. That's going to be fun. I get to play uncle today. That's why I asked you to move up. I was like, man, I want to go lunch with them.
I love them kids, man.
They're awesome. Yeah. And then my other brother, he's got a little boy. He's in North Carolina. And I'm the one that mom has to pray about most now.
Yeah.
It's like, God dang, you're 37 and not married. What's wrong with you, Chase? Well, a lot, Mom. A lot's wrong with me. I like your answer better, not a damn thing. But I'm in a place finally now where I'm like, you asked what's another goal for me. Yeah, I mean, the final thing on that list that I talked about in college was I want to have a family one day. And that's I'm finally at the place now where I could do that because I've been a train wreck for 10 years. And now I'm like, I wouldn't say calming down. I'm just trying to be a better person.
Well, when you get there, it'll be time that you're ready to give yourself to somebody. Yeah. I mean, those things fall in line when they're supposed to.
Yeah, and I ain't. I'm not with anybody because I know I would fuck it up. It's like at least I know that. Well, and I'll get there one day, but I'm at a place now where it's like if I'm gonna do it at this point, might as well do it right. So I'll keep waiting.
So y'all pulling pranks out on the road? You've been out there touring for a few years, man. Tell me some good stuff.
I'm not a prank guy. I suck at pranks. I'm kind of boring when it comes to that. Like I'm not good at jokes. I'm a terrible joke person, and I don't know about the pranks. Most of the stuff I've done on the road has been shit you don't talk about.
You got to wait for some people to die before you put it in the book. Yeah, I got a whole bunch of that.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I got to wait till I'm the old man to talk about that, so people are like, "Oh, back in the day." Yeah, it's a little too current to say it now, but it's the same old shit that everybody's gone through. You look at the Motley Crue documentary; it's like, well. At least I didn't go that far.
Oh, no. Yeah, hit a little close to home, some of it did. I remember my favorite one time me and Tracy Bird were out touring. We were actually down in Florida. It was the last show of the tour, man, and I put 1,000 crickets on his fucking bus, man.
Real crickets?
Real crickets. I went to a bass shop and got 1,000 crickets. He was so pissed at me. It was awesome.
Yeah.
He still ain't got me back, man.
I feel like nowadays, to be honest, you got to either be really, really close with somebody do something like that.
And that takes spending time on the tour and really getting to know
100%. You do that to the wrong person, people just get so offended and upset these days.
Everybody's got their feelings on their freaking sleeve now.
I know. People need to chill the fuck out.
We're supposed to be having fun. That's what this is actually all about. Yeah. It's having fun, man.
Well, I feel like these days the having fun has been put to bed a little bit because it's happened to me before where one night in Nashville, I was out, went and banged on the window of these 6 girls at dinner. And as soon as they turned around, I was like, hell yeah, I'm in. They actually know who I am. Because it could go the other way where they're like, who the fuck is this guy? And I bang on the window. I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm in. Let's go. These girls followed me to Aldean's. We go up. We party our asses off. At some point that night, I end up leaving, going home. I get too drunk. I'm like, I'm out of here. And so that's all I think about it. Like, that's as innocent as it can get. For a single dude living in Nashville, having fun, nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then a month goes by, and I start getting all these texts like, "Oh, I see you down there in Nashville tearing up the town," whatever the texts are. And that pisses me off. It's like, so what happened was this video gets out. It's like a highlight film of the night that these girls put together. And it's like, from the point of me banging on the window, I'm like, shit, I didn't know you were even videoing me banging on the window. To the end of the night, to where we're going to Aldean's and partying our asses off, taking shots, whatever. It's like, can you put your fucking phone down? You're making and then you promote this for yourself, and it's like, listen. And then people are like, oh, he's a dog, whatever. Well, call me a dog. I don't care. But I didn't do a damn thing wrong. All I was trying to do was have fun in Nashville, have a good time, and then people are, I could go into the Morgan Wallen stuff, him making out with them girls at Alabama. What the fuck did he do wrong there?
Not a damn thing. Not a thing.
Why would he not do that? He was becoming one of the biggest rock stars on the planet, young and single. If you're married, I get it. My point is, it's just tougher to let loose and be yourself when you got a camera in your face.
Well, we live in a day and age where masculinity is being demonized.
Just horse shit.
And being a man is being demonized, and everything about it. And it's all a bunch of crap, man. I'm not falling victim to it. I'm not going to deal with it. I've been married for 20-something years. I love my wife, but I had a great time when I was young, man. I did. And we didn't have phones back then. You can just imagine. It was awesome.
It's a life of a rock star. And I'm saying, to me, that's led me down roads where I'm like, damn, okay, I don't want to do that no more. But you got to go down that road to realize.
Absolutely.
And that the shit part is, like you said, it's demonized, but it's like, hey, let me figure this shit out on my own, okay? Because I promise, if you sit here and tell me I'm wrong for doing it, it's going to make me want to do it even more. But if I figure it out on my own, okay, that leads me down a road where that don't really make me happy in the end. Then at least I figured that out on my own. And it's just tough because you get caught in an act of being such a demonized person or doing the wrong thing. It's like, at the end of the day, you got to make those mistakes to become a better person, and it's not going to help by you sitting here telling me that I'm making all these mistakes. Let me figure it the fuck out on my own.
No, and you've got to let a man be a man. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. That's part of our nature, and that doesn't make it right. That doesn't make it wrong. It just, we're all individuals, and I'm going to live the life that I choose to live. And if you don't like it, then don't be around me.
That's the key. And
I'm not going to address it if you have a problem with me. I'm not going to address it with you. I'm just not going to deal with it.
Absolutely. And for me, you're talking about letting a man be a man. If I'm married, I'm going to act different. And I'm not sitting here preaching that you're going to get married and stop. No, but I'm figuring my shit out before I go down that road. Otherwise, I'm either never going to go down that road, or I'm going to go down that road and fuck it up. Yep. Let me do it in my time and figure it out on my own. And the problem is, like I said, there's cameras in your face the whole time that are sitting here showing you doing the wrong stuff when it really ain't the wrong stuff, man. It's just people figuring life out.
That's part of the journey, man. And you know what? We all fall down. We all make mistakes. That's just part of the whole thing. Yeah. But you know what? When you get in this business, we all have a little bit of a selfish nature, or you couldn't do this for a living. You have to have some selfishness to you. And that takes some time to figure out, to figure out how to share yourself with another human being. It took me a long time to figure it out. My wife just had to deal with a whole lot of stuff, man, but we've been together 20-something years. Just got our last kid off to college, and I'm telling you what, we're at the best place that we've ever been. But I wasn't a real good husband when I was young.
But she's still here, and she's a hell of a woman for that.
Oh, yeah, she's still here.
And there's plenty of people who'd say she shouldn't be, or I don't know, but this day and age, there's plenty of people who give their opinion of that, and it's like I have no idea. We just met.
Yeah.
But shut up. Keep your opinions to yourself sometime, and there's too many people that got opinions that talk these days. It's like, just everybody let people live how they want to live their life. There's a time where that used to be the case, and now I think through social media there's just a way for everybody to get together in this army of whatever the battle is that don't even know each other at the end of the day. And right here, what we're doing, to me, is the best way to figure it out. There's been so many battles on Twitter, like I'm not even a part of it anymore. I had people come after me and when I did a show in COVID. And it's like, okay, looking back now, should I have done that show? Looking back now, no, it was too early. At the time, I had no idea what the repercussions were going to be. I had no idea what.
We were all just
nobody knew.
Work. I mean, I was doing the same
COVID
thing.
Even was,
I mean, we were all still out there just trying to work.
I was trying to pay my band because I did not let them go. And anybody that talks shit about me in that did let their band go, fuck right off.
Yeah,
I kept my people because it's a family out here. These are my people, and I'm theirs and they're mine, man. It's it's a family atmosphere that I have with these. It's personal. I know their families.
That was
I
a
know
pretty
their
big
kids,
backlast that you caught from that too, man.
which blew my mind.
Yeah,
Man. I
mean,
woke up on a
it's
Sunday.
Ridiculous.
I woke up on a Sunday to like 70-something texts. I just taken a nap, and the first one I happened to read was Jake Owen. And it was, you fucking piece of shit. You're the reason we can't do shows, yada, yada. Ha, ha, ha. Just kidding, buddy. You'll be all right. I was like, what is he talking about?
The shit had hit the fan.
And it hit the fan. And people are coming after me on Twitter. I'm like, if we could have just had one conversation about this, by the way, you had my phone number. You could have hit me personally about it. We'd have probably came out the other side, at least understanding each other. But when people take shit like that to social media, like I said, the armies get together. And all this led to, which is crazy, kind of full circle, all that led to me deciding, all right, I'm not going to live in that fake-ass world no more. I'm going to get off all that shit, and I'm going to go focus on what I'm good at. I don't want to be a public figure. Someone who goes out there and tries to, rally the troops for his cause. I want to be a fucking musician. And I want to be a singer and sing what I want to sing. People said that about LeBron, shut up and dribble. He doesn't want to do that. That's his prerogative. That's what I want to do. I want to shut up and sing.
Amen.
And that's where I'm at right now. And it's like, this is why I love face-to-face like this. You can have a real conversation about stuff. And even if you and I were on two different sides of things, by the end of it, we'd, like I said, at least understand each other.
Well, at least have the courtesy to listen to somebody else's perspective. And I'm open-minded, man. I mean, you kind of understand what side of the aisle I'm on.
Yeah.
But I have a lot of friends that are the other side. They have a lot more hostility toward me than I do toward them. And I don't understand that, how everybody can just get – if it's like we live in a society where if you don't agree with what I agree with, then I'm going to demonize you. And I don't agree with that at all. I think we should find the common ground that we share. That's much more important to me. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. I've had conversations with, I'm a Republican, and I've had conversations with people who are Democrats, and it's gone one of two ways. It's like you said, either they hate you by the end of it and they don't even want to hear your side.
Yeah.
Okay, well then let's not talk, and we're good. I'm good with that. Yeah, or it's the other way where we actually have a real grown-up conversation about it. It's like, oh, that's what America's supposed to be, is somewhere where we can disagree, but we're still friends.
We're going to have to get back to that point. Man, this is the craziest shit that I've ever heard. So my wife and I, we live in a little community outside of downtown Nashville, and we've got a lot of friends, people, firemen and police officers and different things, and she's got a friend that works for the EMT, and she had lunch with her the other day, and she was telling her that the high school in the area where we live has started putting litter boxes in the bathrooms for the children that identify as felines.
No, I ain't getting
What
on
the
that.
hell
That's wrong.
is going on?
See, then there's,
people-
you talk about disagreeing, there is always a line that's just like, nope, that's too far.
When are we going to say, okay, it's got to stop, people? When's it going to stop? It's getting crazy.
My opinion on that is, all right, that's fucking child abuse.
Yeah.
But also, okay, if you guys want to do that, do your thing. I'm getting out of this situation. I'm taking my kids out. If I have kids like that,
We homeschooled ours.
Yeah, I'm not going there.
We just had to.
There's a line that's too far, and that's it for me.
Before we get done, let's go back and talk about music. Tell me about your stage show. I've never seen you live, man. Tell me what your presentation is.
It used to be absolute chaos.
Yeah.
The band was, everybody'd say after the show, they're like, oh, that was rocking. It was a rock show, yada, yada. And the problem is we started believing that, but it was chaos, but it was not controlled chaos. It was like, was it rocking? If you go back and listen to the show on the tracks or whatever, it didn't sound great.
Yeah.
Now we had one of Springsteen's guys, his name's Matt Payne, come in, and Jeff, who's Darius Rucker's drummer, they both came in. They said, all right, basically you guys suck, and we're gonna make you not suck anymore. And first of all, do we have the right players? Turns out we do. Our players are good enough, from bass to drums to guitars, everything. And now it's more controlled chaos, but it's an actual show now. So now what I got to figure out is but our shows used to be hype as shit. Now we got to figure out a way to get that hypeness back, because I love energy shows. Like I said, the first guy I ever saw was Garth.
Yeah.
I mean, you see his show.
Well, Garth is dynamic. He actually knows when to take you there and when to bring you back down and give you the calm in those moments, man. Those are the special things.
Yeah, he's one of the best to ever do it live. And so now that's what we're trying to figure out, how to keep that chaos, but like I said, with bringing you down with a ballad every now and then, pulling your heart out. But then there's some shows and crowds where, some festivals, you got to change that up. You got to read the crowd. It's like, oh, this crowd's rowdy as shit. Why are we going to rip their hearts out right now? Unless you feel like you need to, then do it. But it's we're in a weird time right now because I have, for the first time in my life, I have hits that are old hits. It's like, what the hell happened? Where'd 10 years ago? Ready, Set, Roll, the way it used to hit, doesn't hit anymore. So instead of playing that last now, we play that third or fourth or first on the Aldine tour. So we're figuring it out. What I've never done well is string together 3 or 4 in a row. And to me, when you do that, that's a recipe for taking that next step in your career. And so we got to figure out a way on this record, because it is so damn good, to figure out a way to string 3 or 4, even if they're not radio hits, somehow get, I don't know how you make hits anymore. It's a wild world we live in. It's a Wild West almost, where you got radio over here. You got to figure out a way to use and utilize as far as getting your songs promoted there. And then you got Spotify and Apple and all this world over here. There's different ways to make a hit these days. So but it's a rowdy show. I like the ups and downs of it. We start strong, and then I bring them down with some real stuff. Key West in Colorado is my favorite new one. That's a little less in your face. I got a song called Carolina Can, which is it's story of my life in 3 minutes, and it's a ballad, but it's not really a tear-jerking ballad. It's just a real song.
Yeah.
So we go all the way. We play Cruise. We play that a different way because I wanted to start that with guitar, because that's how I started the song. That's how we literally started.
How you wrote it.
Yeah, it's how we kind of take you back to the acoustic days. I usually do one song, just me and a guitar, a couple songs. Tonight I probably won't, because
it's different outside of these big festivals like this. Yeah.
You can lose a crowd quick with that.
Yeah.
And then some nights you can't do anything wrong, and you can do that, and they freaking love it. But yeah, and then we end strong with 3 or 4 hits in a row. So I got work to do as far as getting the current stuff to become popular, and I don't know how you do that at this point, because I've done my job now, and I believe this album. I hear it, I'm like, damn, I even want to hear this. Hopefully other people will too, and that's part of the team's job, management, label. Like, all right, y'all, I've done my job. Let's come together and figure out a way to get it to the people.
How have you? So are you getting ready to go out and do radio promotion, all that stuff?
It's funny.
Well, what label are you on?
I'm on Broken Bow.
Gotcha. Okay. You're on Aldines.
Yeah.
Label. Yeah.
And he doesn't own, like, but he's kind of the.
Well, he's the flagship guy. He's the guy that started. That was pretty much the flagship whole thing. And Lobos.
He might have ownership. Lobos still there.
Yeah.
He might have ownership of Broken Bow now. I think he
maybe a piece of it or something.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny. I haven't had a song on the radio in a year and a half, and I couldn't tell you the last time I talked to radio folks. Like the team doesn't come and, hey, will you come do this radio show, until you have a song that then
until you get ready to do it, and then it's almost like running for political office again. It's like out there shaking hands and kissing.
That's
babies.
A weird one for me, because in my opinion, it should be just play the best music. And there's a lot of politics involved, and I guess that's any business. So, and I'm really shit at politics.
Well, but you think about it, dude. You got all these labels here, and you got about 18 current slots in the charts right now. So you got all these labels that have a minimum of 4 to 5 acts piece, justifying their promotion staff, trying to jockey for all this limited amount of chart space. So I mean, it's all personality. It's all getting to know these radio guys. Are so much hand-to-hand combat, for lack of a better way to say it, that makes a lot of difference out there, man. It's very political.
It is political. And I suck at politics. I'll just straight up tell you that. But is what it is. I'm in a place in my life right now where I'm like, man, I'm gonna be me, and I'm tired of dodging. Like you just said, you should be allowed to have opinions about things, and I'm tired of not being able to say my opinion because I'm scared. Oh, what if I get canceled? Well, fuck you, cancel me then.
That's why I'm doing this, because I don't want to have to swallow my opinion anymore, and my voice needs to be heard, and I've lived enough life, and I'm not trying to put any pressure on anybody or have any kind of shock tactics. I just want to have a voice out there and be heard. That's what it's all about, man.
100%. I can't wait to hear what some people say about this, because I never heard him that honest before. But you're only going to get more of it. And like I said, I'm not sitting out here trying to tell people how to live, but I'm not going to let you determine how I live.
Amen, man. So Derek, that runs audio back here. Derek's a guitar player in the band. Scott plays piano in the band, so I always love to get them to ask a couple of questions. So jump in, boys.
Let's go.
3-4 defense or 4-3?
4-3. I was always a smaller linebacker, and that does not work in a 3-4 defense. So 4-3 all day.
That's all you got?
Well, you took my prank question.
Oh, the prank. Yeah, I suck at pranks, dude. I feel like I'm the guy that does a prank. I'm like, yes, this is going to be great. And then I'm never asked out on that tour again because I took it way too far or something.
Yeah, because I don't know when to stop.
I don't either.
One of my favorites I've heard was, I think I've said this before on this podcast, but somebody stuffed a bus full of packing peanuts, like neck deep, the entire bus, all the way through.
I don't know how you do that. How you get that many peanuts?
Get a box truck and you just back up to the door.
dang.
That's freaking awesome.
How would you do that? How would you clean that shit out?
Oh my God, that sounds awesome.
Oh no.
I got a question for you, Chase. Just about health, as far as being on the road and staying healthy. Do you have a schedule with that, or do you just kind of?
I'm actually healthier on the road because Nandor, my tour manager, he used to be my trainer. So we would train for a while. I haven't worked out in a year at least. But he'll at least still cook for me. So like hunting camps where I go to shit. It's like there's banana pudding, there's all these last night we had lasagna. But yeah, for me it's food out here that I try to just keep right. I haven't worked out much. I got to get back into running. At least running. I'm not trying to lift weights no more. My body hurts. Speaking of full circle, my body hurts so damn bad that I just get a run in or a bike or something. But I like doing that because I'm getting winded these days on stage because I run around a little bit, not crazy, but even if I'm walking fast, I'm getting winded. I'm like, this is bad. I got to get my shit.
I'll catch up with you, man, for sure.
Yeah. And I'm not even a smoker. It's like something's going on. I guess I just got to work out.
Chemtrails, man. That's what it is. Chemtrails.
Ah, it's the damn chemtrails. They're getting into my lungs. I got to get that fixed.
That's it, man. Brother, I really appreciate your time today. Thanks for hanging out with me. Pleasure to get to know you.
Dude, thanks for
Absolutely
asking me.
Looking forward to sharing the stage with you tonight. Let's go kick some ass, man.
I've never seen your show either, so I'm fired up for that.
It's just old country, man. It's all good.
That's the best kind of country.
Chase Rice.
Thanks, man.